Hello, Granite School District patrons, and thank you for taking a moment to review this year's boundary studies. This presentation summarizes the general proposals that are currently being studied and presented to your local school community councils. Every year, Granite evaluates areas of the district for potential boundary studies based on student populations. Studies begin each calendar year in January and end each December with decision by the Board of Education. Throughout the year, data is gathered and meetings are held with each affected school community council. Again, this presentation summarizes the general proposals that are currently being studied and presented to your local school community councils. Any changes that are eventually approved by the board would become effective in the fall of 2018. There are 3 boundary studies currently under consideration: the Northwest Area Study, the South Salt Lake Area Study, and the Olympus and Cottonwood Network Study. This short presentation will briefly go over each proposal. Once it's over, we invite you to visit with representatives from Granite School District to ask questions and to provide your feedback. Now, let's take a closer look at each study. The Northwest Area Study was initiated because of anticipated residential growth in this part of Granite School District. This study contains 2 components: a boundary adjustment between Pleasant Green and Lake Ridge Elementaries, with a feeder pattern change for Gerald Wright Elementary. First, let's look at the proposed boundary change between Pleasant Green and Lake Ridge. As you can see on the map, there are currently 2 options under consideration. Option A, on the lower left, would involve approximately 100 students. These students currently walk to Pleasant Green, and if the boundary change were approved, would still be considered a walking area to Lake Ridge Elementary. Option B in the upper right would involve approximately 70 students that currently attend Pleasant Green. However, this area also includes much of the anticipated growth mentioned earlier. Exactly how much growth is still uncertain. Most of the area in Option B is currently bused to Pleasant Green and would remain a bused area for Lake Ridge. The second part of this study involves a feeder pattern change in which students from Gerald Wright Elementary would begin feeding into Hunter Junior High instead of Matheson Junior High. However, upon leaving Hunter Junior High, students would continue to attend Cypress High School. This feeder change allows for future growth at Matheson Junior High, which is already near capacity. Next is the South Salt Lake Area Study. This study was introduced to the community as a means of addressing current growth in the area. As illustrated on the map, this study is highlighted by a boundary change that would move approximately 120 students from the Wilson Elementary boundary into the Lincoln Elementary boundary. The area highlighted in red includes residences south of Gregson and Welby Avenue. These students currently receive busing to Wilson Elementary, and if the proposal is approved, would continue to receive busing to Lincoln Elementary. The last boundary study under consideration is the Olympus and Cottonwood Network Study. This study proposes moving the highlighted area, known by many as the site of the old Cottonwood Mall, from the Olympus Network into the Cottonwood Network. There are currently no homes located on this property. So, what happens next? The Population Analysis Committee will study public input and present a summary and first reading to the Board of Education at the November 14th board meeting, and will continue to take public input through November 22nd. The board will take final action, one way or the other, on these proposals at the December 5th board meeting. Remember, any changes that are eventually approved by the board would become effective in the fall of 2018. Thank you for taking a few minutes today to review these proposals. We value your opinion and encourage your continued feedback. You may reach the Planning and Boundaries Office at 385-646-4123, or you may email us at boundaries@graniteschools.org. Thank you for your participation in this process and for your continued support of Granite School District.